Yo guys, what is up? Max in our first Descendant video, and today we're going over the best farms of the week. This is actually a really great week for reactor farming, so we're going to be going over everything you need to know. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's get right into it. One thing to note before we get into all the reactor farms is the devs in a recent interview basically said that they plan to add a system to the reactors that you can enhance them and expand their weapon categories. So maybe if you find like an afterglow reactor, you can expand it to like apply to all snipers type deal. So if you find a god roll in any of the farms mentioned throughout this video that is exactly the stats you're looking for, but not quite the weapon, it isn't the worst idea to hold on to it for when these changes go live. Obviously, we don't know when those changes go live, but I just wanted to point it out in case this update comes out and everyone's like, oh, I threw away all my god roll reactors because I didn't know. The first reactor farm of the week to talk about is for Hailey, which is going to be chill, high power round singular. This is, in my opinion, exactly what you want. You're either looking for an afterglow or a piercing light reactor. Ideally with crit damage and damage to Colossus is going to be like the best reactor. And it's in the Frozen Valley on Fortress, which is perfect because you can farm it in Command Relay. Command Relay is a great mission to kill a bunch of elites. There's two elites that spawn really early. You can kill those two elites and abandon or just do the whole mission. But the reason Command Relay is so good and so efficient of a farm is it is also a incredible farm for exactly what you need for energy activators. I am always out of polyatomic ion particles to build energy activators. I'm literally out right now. This is always the limiting resource for me in building more and more energy activators. And so now you can just passively farm a ton of these things while also farming a god tier Hailey reactor. So it's twice as efficient. So I absolutely recommend doing a bit of this farm this week. Our next farm is going to be in Vermilion Waste. It's a non-attribute special rounds tech, and this is going to be exactly what you're looking for, in my opinion, for Ajax. I will have an updated Ajax build out hopefully tomorrow. Ajax, did get a little bit of nerfs, but he also got some buffs, and I plan to be moving him up a bit in my tier list. I'll be showing you exactly why. But in order to get his best possible reactor, you really want the Secret Garden reactor. It is his best in slot weapon for various reasons, but you can farm it in Vermilion Waste. I'd recommend either doing the Rock Cave Base Extermination. You can run this pretty quickly, or you can also run the Vermilion Waste Volga Strategic Outpost. You can do Valby circles on this outpost, or just run it normally, or just kind of like rotate back and forth between doing both of these. Will be a very efficient farm for Ajax reactors. In terms of like the roles that you're looking on it, you're gonna want boost ratios, in my opinion. Damage is going to be really nice, like non-attribute boost, tech boost to get his like abilities hitting as hard as possible. Range is going to be pretty nice. You don't really need skill cost. You don't really need cooldown, and he can't crit. So mainly just damage is what I'm going to be looking for on mine personally. Our next farming spot is for Freyna. It's a toxic special rounds tech in the corrupted zone. What you're looking for is the Secret Garden. Once again, Ultimate Freyna is out in a few weeks, and she's getting a rework. I think she's going to be nasty. You're definitely going to want to have a reactor for her. In the corrupted zone, you've got a few options. I think the best one is Deep Digger. This mission starts you in one area where you've got to like kind of clear out a bunch of enemies, and then you have to go like move around and you end up on the rooftops. I would just clear out the first area and then abandon, and you can keep doing this. It also has a chance to drop Passionate Sponsor, which is an incredibly powerful mod if you do not have it yet. So if you want to run the full thing, you definitely can. It does spawn 2 elites at the end, but you're going to be looking for a Freyna reactor. On Freyna, I strongly recommend a range reactor with a boost ratio. I think is going to be really nice. For bossing, you're going to want crit damage, damage to Colossus, but not as important to get a Secret Garden for that, because obviously the Secret Garden buff does not work for her 4, but having one that you're not going to have to swap off of all the time is going to be really nice. Our next farm is going to be for Lepic. This is a Fire Impact Rounds tech. The like impact weapon that you get doesn't really matter because once again, for Lepic, the weapon that you're holding doesn't affect his fourth ability. But you want impact for the sharp precision shot best roll. Sharp precision shot rolls better as a mod on impact rounds than anything else in terms of increasing your fire rate. In the hatchery, you also don't have a great amount of missions. Personally, I would probably recommend running lower hatchery. You could also run the outpost and just kill enemies there and do that over and over and over again. Not a great week for Lepic reactors in terms of farming here, but definitely something. If you don't have a Lepic reactor, you should definitely try to be acquiring one. Lastly, for reactors, we've got a Viessa Reactor for chill special rounds tech. This is if you want to build around the fourth ability. You're probably looking for a clairvoyance mounting. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for a secret garden mounting, but I think technically with the cooldown of the 4, you're gonna want clairvoyance. But the two things that you can do here is run giant hangar and then just kill the enemies in the hangar, abandon after that, don't do the next area. Or you can actually do a Valby run around the like Volga strategic outpost, just take off your range, and you can kind of just do circles. That was working pretty well for me. Ideally on your reactor, if you're trying to build it just for Viessa's 4, you want crit damage and damage to Colossus. But if you're using it for multi-purpose, like cooldown and crit damage, or range and like boost ratio, all those things are nice. Viessa, once again, is kind of one of those characters that wants a lot of things, but if you're specifically just building it for the 4, the god roll is going to be crit damage to Colossus. The last thing I wanted to mention is this week you can farm auxiliary powers. I'd probably farm this from Order's Veil. Auxiliary powers are really nice because they can double roll health. I basically use this auxiliary power all the time. It hardly ever comes off unless I'm using like Slayer set. But if you can get a max HP roll on it and then gold or purple max HP, this is a fantastic like piece of gear just to have for basically every character. The ideal god roll, in my opinion, would be max HP, gold max HP, and then MP out of combat. And you could have a item that works for all of your characters. Just really, really nice. I still haven't found my god roll yet, so it's definitely something I need to work on. Very last thing I wanted to mention is in each of the maps, there's Ironheart particle collected challenges. These give you levels to your like inversion level, and on Thursday they are going to be buffing the powers that come in the like inversion reinforcement system. So if you haven't filled this out, which once again I have not yet, something I need to get done this week, you're probably going to want a good amount of availability in your skill trees, so that when these buffs do become good, which they're not really good right now, you can have them available to you and not have to like go and farm a bunch. So if you've got some time, I would recommend trying to get some of those like invasion particle things collected, Ironheart particles. And yeah, guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. I will catch you all in the next one. Take care. Peace.